Welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, April 15th, 2021. I'm Keith Tebow. We have the latest on the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine as more sites in Fall River become available. The school department is looking to make changes following the tragic death of a local teen. The Fall River School Committee and City Council meet for a budget session with allegations against the school superintendent, part of that discussion. And we have some options for kids as they prepare for next week's school vacation. All this and more coming up. We start with an update now on the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. Currently, all those 55 and older are eligible to get vaccinated. People 16 and older will become eligible to be vaccinated beginning on Monday. Here in Fall River, over 25% of residents have received at least one dose of the vaccine at 22,977, with 16.3% or 14,651 residents being fully vaccinated. An update is expected later today. Get the latest on our website, frmedia.org/COVID vaccine. The city is expanding options for people to receive the vaccine. There are special distributions beginning tomorrow, Friday at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Niagara Maplewood Senior Center on Tucker Street, and this Sunday, April 18th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Fonseca School. Mayor Paul Coogan says as the number of vaccine doses ramps up, there will be more local sites opening up, and getting out the word will be key.
We'll use any means necessary to get the message to the people. On Monday, when we go to, I think it's 16 or 18 and up, it's going to be wide open then. So we're going to be notifying everybody through media, through radio, and tell people what they have to do to get vaccinated. Our problem, as I've said from the get-go, is we haven't really gone over the top with these notifications yet because we've always been short vaccines. But as more vaccines come into the city, we would like everybody to get vaccinated, so there's no reason to put any kind of constraints on it. Just sign up and let's go.
Here's more information on how you can secure a COVID-19 vaccine in Fall River. Pre-registration is available for an upcoming appointment at a mass vaccination site. The closest one to Fall River is at the former Circuit City store in Dartmouth. You can register at vaccinesignup.mass.gov. Other than the mass vaccination sites, you can set appointments at vaxfinder.mass.gov. Here are the locations in Fall River listed by the state that are distributing the vaccine. CVS Pharmacy has 3 locations: 1620 President Avenue, 550 Pleasant Street, and 245 William S. Canning Boulevard. You can register online or call 1-800-746-7287. Vaccination sites run by Walgreens are now available on Plymouth Avenue, North Main Street, Pleasant Street, Rhode Island Avenue, and South Main Street. You can also register online or by calling 1-800-925-4733. 2 Stop and Shop locations on Rodman Street and Mariano Bishop Boulevard are also available for distribution of the vaccine. Again, you can register online or call 774-627-1226. Walmart in Fall River is also distributing the vaccine with appointments only being made online. The city of Fall River is still organizing its clinic at Bristol Community College. Again, the college is not coordinating appointments. Appointments can only be made online. The Health First Family Care Center on Quarry Street is also accepting appointments. Call 774-627-1226. And South Coast Health continues its vaccination clinic at the Liberal Club. Appointments will be made exclusively through the hospital's MyChart application. You can also get help with making an appointment by dialing 211. Get the latest update on vaccine information on our webpage, frmedia.org/COVID vaccine. The Fall River Public Schools continues on a track for a full in-person reopening. At this week's school committee meeting, Superintendent Matthew Malone provided an update.
Remember, the state regulations still allow for parents to choose full remote for their children, and we have probably about 75 to 80% of our students will be in. We see a shift at the secondary level, and that's to be expected. A lot of the high school kids are like, I'm not coming back. I want to stay remote. I understand that, but, we're going to continue to try to motivate them to come back. Right now, we have A, B, C, and D in 5 days a week at the elementary level, and starting today, it was A, C, and D 5 days a week at the 6 through 12 level. So we think Durfee will pretty much probably stay the same because the kids that have wanted to come back, have come back. The middle school results are continuing to show themselves, if you will, in terms of, because today was the first day. I expect more families to come back. We continue to do the vaccinations across the board, working with the city. Thank the city's health team. I think there'll be the possibility for any student who wants to come back at some point, if seats are available, they'll be able to.
Also this week, the school committee came out unanimously against the administration of MCAS testing this year. School committee man Tom Corey read from a letter drafted to the State Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, pointing out the obstacles facing students here in Fall River.
As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the massive disruption of our school year, we believe that the administration of the MCAS in any form, either for accountability purposes or as a diagnostic instrument, will only add further disruption and stress to an already stressful year. The pandemic has highlighted the massive inequities in our society, as well as issues of access and justice that have resulted from virtual and hybrid remote instruction. These issues have played out with terrible results in our gateway cities and rural communities in Massachusetts. As such, to administer the MCAS at this time would be ill-conceived if mandated by the policymakers and regulatory authorities. Instead, why not help by supporting local districts with the technical assistance and resources to reopen schools more fully, extend learning opportunities for the summer, and provide communities with a supportive arm to close achievement gaps.
The school committee is looking at ways the district can improve upon its role in serving children who are at high risk after criticism surrounding the death of 14-year-old David Allman. The state's child advocate released a report 2 weeks ago on its investigation in the death of the teen, citing the DCF, the state's court system, and the Fall River Public Schools for failing to take steps that may have prevented David's death. During this week's meeting, Superintendent Malone said the child advocate's report was thorough and pointed out gaps within the system that the school department is committed to improving.
We've taken the recommendations serious as of course to be expected, and we have established and set up a series of trainings. We've begun the communications with the departments and employees articulated, and the whole district will be trained up on 51As and child abuse on June 16th. The one thing that is critical and clear in the reporting is that no matter what we thought we did, we got to do it again. So redundancy of reporting really is the main message, meaning if we think if DCF's involved, doesn't matter, keep filing 51As. If we feel uncomfortable, let's get the police to do a wellness check. If a parent says to us, no, the kids are fine and we can't see them, let's make sure we ask to see them. Now, these are all things that we can make improvements on, and we will.
Along with further training, the school committee voted to establish a commission to review the investigative reports and, within 90 days, make recommendations on changes to school policies. School committeeman Mark Costa worked on the details of the proposal and said it's important for the district to learn from its mistakes.
This isn't one action that led to this tragedy. This was multi-agencies, and there were a number of stop signs, if you read this report, that a number of agencies blew right through. And so this is an opportunity for some reflection, to take a look, and to get better at what we do. The public we serve, the kids we serve deserve that. And so I'm asking for people on this. I'm asking my colleagues, to support this. I'm looking forward to, and I put 90 days because I don't think this is something that should drag on. We have the Office of Child Advocate report. We have the internal report. There's already some headway being made, but I don't want to get pigeonholed into just those reports. I want a review of our existing policies, and if there is a need for additional policy, that be brought forward. If it coincides with additional training, that those recommendations be brought forward, so that at the end of the day, regardless if there's a pandemic, regardless of whatever the posture the district's in, that we don't have a situation where our staff aren't equipped with or don't feel confident with their decision-making or don't have the resources to make decisions to keep kids safe.
Allegations of inappropriate behavior by Superintendent Malone became a talking point this week as the school committee and city council met in a joint session to discuss the fiscal 2022 budget. The city council has gone on record calling for Malone's removal, and interactions at the meeting between the council, school committee, and the superintendent became tense. City Councilor Leo Pelletier questioned the school department on why, despite the allegations facing the superintendent, he's expected to receive a $4,000 pay raise this upcoming fiscal year.
And if it's 4,000 or 25, it doesn't make a difference to me. I still got to sell it to the people of Fall River, and they're upset with you, Mr. Malone. It is. I mean, I don't know if you go out to the city of Fall River. I do, and I got to listen. And to say that now we're going to give you a $4,000 raise, because why? Because you're doing a good job? I don't know if you're doing a good job. You know, but I have to live with it. If you guys want to give them 4,000 or 10,000 or 15,000, then so be it. It's just not right to the people and taxpayers of Fall River. He's got a problem, we have a problem. So, you know, somehow it's got to get corrected one way or the other. And if nobody, you know, wants to do anything or think about it, or we never got a report, what's happening, everything was like in a back burner. What's going on? We don't know. What is going on? We don't know. And where is the end of this with you, Mr. Malone?
School Committeeman Tom Corey came to the superintendent's defense, claiming Malone has led the district well through challenging circumstances.
But the progress in our schools has been unbelievable. And the fact of the matter, sir, because Chapter 70 monies have been so low in Fall River, it's contributed to an issue of teacher retention in our schools. We lose a lot of young, brilliant candidates because they're shopping other districts in the Commonwealth to make a hell of a lot more money than they're making in Fall River. So what we have to do to compensate for that, and Dr. Malone is a major league cheerleader for our staff, the body of people that work in our schools, and the progress that's going on. Now, that doesn't mean that things are flowing along perfectly. That means that things are flowing along.
Point of order,
Things are flowing
Mr.
along
President.
very, very well.
On budget matters, City Council President Cliff Ponte said he hopes the influx of federal money to the public schools can be used to offset any increase in taxes anticipated when the city implements a debt exclusion to pay for construction of the new BMC Durfee High School.
It kind of shows that we're seeing some big money coming in from our federal government with regards to ESSER money, as well as the American Rescue Plan and Stability Account. We're looking at $73 million coming in from the feds with respect to American Rescue. And we're seeing possibly with ESSER 2 funds for the schools, as Mr. Alameda indicated, and ESSER 3, $17 million and another $41 million. I've stated to the mayor, Mrs. Sahadi, and the finance team that I am hoping that a discussion is being had, and I know it is, with seeing how we could utilize these funds to avoid going to the debt exclusion. And I'm hoping that you see some guidance very soon from the federal government and the U.S. Treasury on how we can spend this money. And I know the mayor is working very hard to try to make that happen, speaking to the federal delegation. But I am going to be strongly advocating from my perspective to see what we can do without going to the debt exclusion. And I know we're not seeing it in this fiscal year's budget or next year, but it's coming. And while we're seeing this big amounts of money, I'm hoping that we could send some relief to our taxpayers.
Mayor Paul Coogan is expected to present his full FY22 budget to the City Council sometime next month. He said all elected officials should work together to strive toward a common goal.
I'm very comfortable sitting here with you guys because I like 99% of everything you say, because we're on the same team. We're on the same team. Schools, I really don't like the way it kind of seems like sometimes we're against each other. We're not. We're on the same team. The budget's almost split in half with what the city side decides to do and what the school side decides to do. So we have to work together.
Bristol County Sheriff Tom Hodgson gave us an update last week on how his office has handled COVID-19 at the Bristol County House of Correction, as well as his growing concern over the influx of immigrants entering the United States. When we spoke with the sheriff last year, cases of COVID-19 were a concern among prison staff as well as the inmate and detainee population. In total, 98 inmates and detainees contracted the virus out of a population of 900. The focus is now on getting the prison population access to the COVID-19 vaccine.
We're not yet at a point where we have the majority in either case, whether it's inmates or staff who have had the vaccine. It's still ongoing. We did notifications within the facility. We had videos to explain why the vaccination would be important for the inmates to access, and as well as our staff. But of course, everyone makes ultimately the choice for themselves on that health issue, which we obviously would not and could not mandate. So right now, I think we're somewhere close to 50% on our staff. We're about almost the same place with the inmates and detainees. So we're continuing to offer it. And I know the medical staff, when they're in the units every day, are sort of prodding and encouraging any inmates that haven't gotten it to take it.
Sheriff Hodgson joined over 270 other sheriffs across the country, authoring a letter to President Biden calling for stricter immigration enforcement on our country's southern border. The sheriff says the president showed disregard for the immigration mitigation policies instituted by former President Donald Trump, policies the sheriff said were making a difference in limiting the number of immigrants entering the United States.
We saw light at the end of the tunnel. But when President Biden stepped in 2 days of taking office, the swipe of a pen, he wiped out the progress that was being made on our behalf and behalf of all the people who elected the sheriffs of this country to uphold the rule of law, keep our promise to maximize our ability to protect them, keep their families safe, their neighborhoods, and the nation safe. And I guess what's really the most outrageous and most frustrating situation for sheriffs is we know that President Biden, back in 1996, when he was a senator, he was well aware of how illegal immigration was impacting our communities. And he, in fact, back then was even saying we need to have more deportations. Then as vice president, they were well aware of what was going on and what open borders meant to the citizens of this country that he and at that time President Obama promised to protect. And so for President Biden to knowingly and recklessly decide in 2 days after taking office just to wipe it out, it clearly translates into his feelings that his political agenda, supporting the progressives within his party, were more important than the lives of the American people.
Fall River's Director of Buildings and Grounds, Chris Gallagher, this week was charged and arraigned on 2 counts of indecent assault and battery against a person under the age of 14 at New Bedford District Court. Mr. Gallagher immediately resigned his position with the city. Mayor Paul Coogan accepted his resignation and tells us his duties will likely be shared by others within the department. Mr. Gallagher pled not guilty and was released on $5,000 bail. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
The COVID-19 vaccine is here. The distribution of the vaccine is taking place in phases. Soon, everyone will have the opportunity to get vaccinated.
According to the CDC, getting the vaccine helps lower the risk of contracting COVID-19, along with reducing the severity of the virus if you get sick. It also protects your family and community from infection.
After receiving the vaccine, we encourage you to continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, and practice social distancing.
The vaccine is provided free of charge for all Massachusetts residents. Appointments are required.
Find out more about when you can receive the vaccine and schedule an appointment. Visit mass.gov/COVID vaccine or by calling 211.
Protect yourself and those around you.
Stay informed.
Secure your spot and get your shot. Get your shot.
Get your shot.
Get your shot.
Get your shot.
Welcome back. Families in Fall River are beginning to see the benefits of more organizations for children reopening from the pandemic. Among them is the Children's Museum of Greater Fall River. The museum found itself closed from last March through July, then again during this past winter's surge in COVID cases. Executive Director Joanne Sprague says the museum is now open with COVID capacity limits not hampering the ability to welcome as many children as possible.
We're fortunate that we have walls, which helps us out and puts us in a little bit better position than some of the open concept. It's much easier for us to be able to post what the room allows. So we took what our guidance is from the building department, who originally gave us what our capacity was for each room, and we've just cut it in half and we post that outside each room. But we haven't had to go to advanced ticket sales. The building is so large and our capacity is almost 350. With the half, we just haven't reached those kinds of numbers yet. So we're happy to report, that people can walk in.
Despite limitations, the Children's Museum is preparing for a wide schedule of events for those looking for activities during school vacation week.
During the week of school vacation week, we always do something with Earth Day. We have teamed up with the local folks that planted some trees. We've had that done over past couple of years. We've planted 2 new trees. An arborist will be here that week pruning the trees and giving the children some lessons on outdoor gardening. Inside, it will be a STEAM week. We will be doing some art crafts, but they won't be as open-ended as they usually are. They'll be more kit specific because we cannot share materials. We'll also be doing some what we call kitchen science, and the children will have a chance to make a sensory bottle or a fun lava lamp. If you add a Alka-Seltzer to the oil and water, it kind of looks, it puts, dye and then some sprinkles and things in it. It almost looks like an old-fashioned lava lamp. We'll also be doing some experiments. There'll be a station set up where we'll be doing some with homemade kinds of materials that you can find in your kitchen.
The Children's Museum of Greater Fall River is open 4 days a week, Wednesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Fall River Public Library is also featuring a week of events for children. Here's librarian David Mello.
Yes, hello. This is the children's room at the Fall River Public Library, yes. Why, yes, we do have some wonderful things happening during school vacation week, during April 20th through the 23rd here at the Fall River Public Library. What's that you say? Oh, yes, why, let me tell you some of the highlights of the week. Why, we will have here at the Fall River Public Library a coral garden. Children will be able to reach inside, pull out a piece of coral, and break it open to find a mysterious sea creature hidden inside. We'll have a pirate's plank that they can test their balancing skills and see if they can walk across it without falling off. Why, we have a treasure hunt. happening at the Fall River Public Library. They can scour the children's room to see if they can find the hidden treasure of jewels and gold coins. And we also have a craft all week long that children can schedule a curbside visit to pick it up or come into the library to pick it up. It is a wonderful little coral garden. Yes, so it's easy to make. They'll have no problem with it whatsoever. Oh, yes, and I almost forgot. And starting out the week on Tuesday at 11 o'clock to 12 noon on the front lawn of the library, we have SpongeBob SquarePants and his friend Patrick Star. Yes, they're making their trip all the way here from Bikini Bottom to the Fall River Public Library. Yes, we're going to be delighted to have them. You can meet them on the front lawn and pose for a picture, and they'll even be handing out free crafts while they last. Why, I hope you can make it to the library during this week. Why, yes, all you have to do to arrange a visit is to call the Fall River Public Library at 508-324 2700 extension 4. That's the children's room to schedule your date and time that you'd like to visit us. And that goes the same too if you would just like to schedule a curbside craft. Yes, we're very excited about the week ourselves, and we're hoping that you can join us as well here at the Fall River Public Library. You have a wonderful day too. And we hope that you're able to visit the Fall River Public Library during school vacation week and take part in the many exciting activities we have going on here. We'll see you then.
We'll wrap up FRC Media News right after this.
La vacuna contra el COVID-19 ya está disponible en Massachusetts y su distribución se está haciendo por etapas. Muy pronto, todo el mundo tendrá la oportunidad de vacunarse. De acuerdo a los estudios realizados y las recomendaciones del CDC, vacunarse no solo reduce el riesgo de contraer la enfermedad, sino que disminuye la gravedad de la misma en caso de contagio, además de proteger su familia y a la comunidad en general de la transmisión. Después de recibir la vacuna, todavía tendremos que continuar utilizando mascarillas, mantener el apropiado distanciamiento y lavarnos las manos con frecuencia hasta tanto nuestras autoridades nos den nuevas recomendaciones. La vacuna es gratuita para todos los que vivimos en Massachusetts, pero se requiere hacer una cita para recibirla. Para saber más de cómo hacer tu cita, por favor visite mas.gov/COVID-vaccine o llame al 211. Protéjase y proteja a su familia. Manténgase bien informado. Haga su cita y vacúnese.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for all the latest news and information, as well as updates on the COVID-19 vaccine here in Fall River. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.